All right, so in the last example, we talked about integers in terms of money. Here we're going to talk about integers in terms of temperature. So in Alaska, it is 5 degrees below freezing. So the keyword here that indicates whether we have a positive integer or a negative integer is this word below. Okay, when it says below freezing, that means I've got a negative integer. So it is negative 5 degrees outside. Okay, just as a little reminder, this little circle like this means degrees. So you read it 5 degrees. Okay. The second example is in Hawaii, it's 89 degrees outside. Again, this little circle means degrees. So 89 degrees outside, it doesn't say anything about below. So my integer is positive 89. Or, because it's positive, you could also just write 89. Okay, and again, that degree symbol is just like a little circle. It's just above the number. I just did not do a very good job of it on some of those. Okay. All right, let's try another example. And this time we'll do height. All right, example height. The tree is 10 feet tall and the rock is 10 feet below sea level. So again, for this one, we got to think about height. So if the tree is 10 feet tall, then this is a positive 10 feet because it's above sea level, or 10 feet. I'm going to make a reminder that when you're using height, it is in comparison, is a comparison to sea level. Okay. Sea level, if I'm at sea level, I'm at 0. Okay. So the rock is 20 feet below sea level, which means that this is negative 20 feet. Okay. Notice for negative numbers, I don't have a second way to write it. It has to have that negative there. But for positive numbers, I can either have the positive or not have it because we just assume that it's always positive, okay? All right. The last thing I want to talk about is integers on the number line. Okay, so you have drawn a number line before. It's basically just a straight, flat line that goes forever and ever in both directions, right? So for a number line, when you start putting negative numbers on them, you start marking 0, okay? And when you mark 0, you can mark it in the middle of your number line, a little to the left, a little to the right. It doesn't matter. But when you mark a number line, you have positive and negative numbers. I'm going to do positives in green. So my positive numbers are numbers like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and so on and so forth, right? My negative numbers, I'm going to mark in red. They start from 0 and they go negative. And they count exactly the same as the other side. So they're going to start with negative 1. And then they go to negative 2. And then negative 3. And negative 4. And then negative 5 and so on and so forth. So notice the number line is basically like a reflection. It's reflected. Okay. You have positive numbers adding from 1 all the way up to infinity. And then you have negative numbers adding all the way up from 1 to infinity. So the further you get from 0, the bigger the number is. I'm going to actually make that a note. The further you are from 0, the bigger the number. Okay, now this is not talking about value because obviously owing $4 to somebody is more than owing $1 to somebody else. It's talking about the value of it, like 4 is a bigger number than 1 is. Okay, so on the number line, you can put any positive or negative numbers. So if I decided to graph on a number line, this tree being 10 feet tall, I could draw my number line, put a 0 on there, and then I know that 10 is positive, so I'm going to count to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's 10 feet, so that's where that number would be. If I wanted to draw this negative 20 feet, I would do the same thing. Draw a number line. This time I'm going to put 0 a little more to the right so that I have more space on the left, and then I count to 20. Negative 20.